up? Welcome back for another episode of the Currency Club. I'm Whitney Styles, and today's special guest, so she's in the beauty industry, and she's a content creator, and her name is Janai Johnson. What's up, Janai?
Hi, Whitney. Thank you for having me. I am Janai, like you said, Janai Johnson, owner of makeupxjanai. I'm a mompreneur and a content creator.
Because you're in the beauty industry, what is one item that you cannot live without?
Concealer.
What's your favorite brand of concealer?
Actually, right now it's a drugstore brand. It's by e.l.f. Their camo concealer. I'm obsessed because I love the packaging. I love the price. I love the shade range, and I love the coverage. I would have to say the e.l.f. camo concealer.
And nothing wrong with a drugstore brand. When you traveling, you don't want to go to, buy the professional product. You in a hurry, you in a budget, whatever the situation. There's nothing wrong with a drugstore brand. What is one beauty trend that you wish would stop?
I can't say a beauty trend that I want to stop, but something that makes me cringe is one shimmery, bad eyeshadow from the lid all the way up to here. Break it up a little bit, not so much shine, just a ball of shine, unblended, no crease color. That makes me cringe.
You add some dimension, add some matte shades. The matte shades are your friend. But now let's get into the details of your business. Tell us all about makeupxjanai.
Well, makeupxjanai, I started probably about 5 years ago when I first moved back to Grand Rapids, Michigan, and I didn't have a job. I had been working as a makeup artist for 7 years prior, and I just decided to launch my own business after going back to the cosmetic brand that I was working for, and there weren't very many hours, and I was a new mom at the time, so I wanted to create some flexibility within my schedule, and I decided to start my business then. And as far as services that I offer full makeup application, and I also do male grooming, and I do light hairstyling.
All right, but let's get into the other details though, right? Don't you do bridal makeup? You do special occasion looks, corporate headshots. I found all this on her Instagram. But let's talk about those services too.
You can book me for your wedding. I definitely do bridal makeup. I do a lot of special occasion, and currently I've been working in the corporate space a lot. So a lot of commercial companies I've started to work with, and with that comes headshots. I love to do photo shoots. That's my passion. I love to do fashion photo shoots. I have recently finished 2 jobs. One was a movie that was filmed here in Grand Rapids. And then I also finished filming on a TV series. The first part of the TV series was filmed in Kalamazoo, Michigan, and then the rest is going to be being filmed in Japan.
So talk to me about that experience. I imagine that's very different than having one client sit in your chair where you got, 30 minutes, 60 minutes dedicated to them.
I first started in TV and film probably 10 years ago. I worked as an intern when 50 Cent was filming some movies in Grand Rapids. There was a makeup artist by the name of Dion Wynn. She's an amazing makeup artist, but she gave me an opportunity to basically shadow her and watch what she was doing. And the job that I had was powdering background talent. Doesn't take that much skill, but the opportunity that she gave me totally changed my life because it gave me a glimpse and a look into working TV and film. I'm forever grateful for that opportunity, which started my work in TV and film. And then when I was in Atlanta, I worked on a few short films. And then I've also done some short productions here in Grand Rapids. But my most recent work has been on a movie that's coming out called Block Party, where I was one of the makeup artists there. And I actually had talent that I was working on that time. And then this TV series called Lost Man Found, which is actually going to be on Disney+. TV and film is a lot different than special occasion work as far as the time. Set days they usually are about 10 to 12 hour days. So it's really long hours, usually for a couple of weeks to a few months. It's just different. When you have one client in your chair, you're focusing on that one particular client and the outcome for that one occasion versus something that's gonna be on camera forever with the whole production crew. When you're working TV and film, you're also building the look of a character, right? I haven't yet had the opportunity where I have a glamorous client yet. I'm usually creating a character to match who this actor is portraying.
And how much time do you have per face? Is it 20 minutes per look? Is it 10 minutes and you rushing, trying to do everything?
It can be on a movie and TV set. It's really kind of what's going on with production that day. So for example, this last day that I had to get people out of hair and makeup within 40 minutes. So it's full makeup look. You're following continuity, which means that you need the makeup to look exactly how it was looking the day before, the makeup and the hair. It's going to be in your best interest to have everything prepped, to have your continuity photo so that you can follow, and then also a list of the products that you use and how you got to that particular look so you can crank those looks out. I've had as much as as few as minimum as like 20 minutes to get somebody out of hair and makeup. And I'm like, don't panic. When I have my personal special occasion clients, or when you're working a photo shoot, the time frame is a lot different. You usually get that time to kind of create. In my business, when I have a special occasion client, I block off my books for at least like an hour and a half so that we're getting that desired look.
Do you offer makeup classes, either one-on-one or in a group setting?
I do. I offer makeup classes, like individual makeup classes. That's where I feel the most value is with the client. If they really want to progress and go from like an intermediate to advanced level, I love to do one-on-one lessons. I have done some classes in the past, and I like to do classes. I just like to have a smaller class size so that I can still give everyone like individual attention, and I can come over and, move the brush a little bit or help with a little trick that would personally make that person better.
I feel like Janai is being very humble, because if you follow her Instagram, you would also know that she is a traveling makeup artist. She's literally catching a flight tomorrow, right? To go to a whole other state. Talk about that.
It's really surreal. Like every time I get on the plane, I just be like, thank you, Lord. And how did I get here? I came to start traveling because of COVID. And honestly, because living in Grand Rapids, where there wasn't the kind of work that I necessarily wanted, I had to venture out. And with the internet, it connects you to people all over the place. So for instance, the set that I just worked on, the TV and film series, most of the talent was from Japan, right? So now I have those type of connections. So being a traveling makeup artist is very surreal. It is not as glamorous as it looks. When you're like a mom and when you're busy, I have a lot of anxiety when I'm traveling, just to make sure that I have everything that I could possibly need in my kit. Because once you get on that plane, it's like, shit, And there's a lot of preparation that goes into making sure that when I arrive back, my life is still in order. So for instance, the day that I get back from California, after working a photography conference, I have a wedding. I have to make sure that all my brushes are clean, and actually my community, like my cousins, are coming over to help me wash my makeup brushes so that I have at least 3 sets of makeup brushes, because I have a bridal party of 3 as soon as I get back. So making sure that I have the brushes and all the makeup and everything that I need for that client. With traveling as a makeup artist, I absolutely love it. I'm always thankful for it. And there's just a lot of preparation that goes into it, from solidifying childcare for my son, making sure that he has every single thing that he could possibly need, to making sure that my house is clean, my bags are packed, my travel itinerary.
Do you have a team helping you? I know you said the friends, the family are coming over behind the scenes, but like if you had a bridal party, you had to do 3 people, you had to do 10 faces. Who's helping you?
I've started a company, and it's called Makeupxjanai and Company. So technically, when I hire for a bridal party that's anything more than 4, I bring an assistant on. So I have a really good assistant that I've been using within Grand Rapids, and she's actually an esthetician. So she is such an asset to have on my team, because she knows skincare and does waxing and stuff like that. So I can be more efficient with my clients when I have someone else, a team member, another great, dependable makeup artist on my team.
How do you work together? Do you literally split the faces up and it's like, I'm doing the bride, I'm doing the maid of honor, and you do these 2 bridesmaids? Or is she like prepping all of the faces and then you coming through doing the final touches? Because sometimes artists are sensitive about their work. And it's like, if I start the face, I don't want you coming in to tweak or perfect anything. I got this. I could do the blending. I could do the contouring. I could do the lips. I can do all that.
You have that exactly right. Artists, a lot of artists don't play. And that's the thing, especially in the professional world when it comes to makeup and hair. It's like, I know you didn't just touch her lip gloss. Because of my most humble beginnings, I try to be very conscious of that. Whenever I'm working a wedding, the person that I hire, I trust them. We do some onboarding to make sure that our makeup styles are consistent. I always am very vocal about the outcome of the makeup, or like what I need. So that's another part of being a makeup artist, a mom boss, a mompreneur. You really have to know how to find quality people to be on your team that are not always interested in having their ego shine at every particular moment, right? They understand that they're coming to work on as my assistant. And it's not like a jab at them, or it says that they're no less of an artist. It's just that, okay, the look that I'm going for today is the look that Janai has discussed with her client. When I'm working with my assistants, they have their own client. They're going to do that client from start to finish. Now, of course, I have the final say because the product represents me and my brand, and they're mentioned, like as the makeup assistant, but ultimately this person hired me. So I have to come through, with my professional experience and say, okay, maybe if you could blend out that contour a little bit more, or, I need you to add a little bit of warmth to the foundation. In my experience, I've had really good assistants that are able to receive that kind of criticism and feedback. Part of being the leader or the owner of the company, I like to speak to someone with still respect and integrity. And I'm not like, ooh, girl, that makeup is hideous. I'm just like, okay, let's hit that corner a little bit with a little fingertip, or, because I wouldn't hire anybody that I'm just like, this makeup is trash, and then I have to coach on the spot. So that's where the onboarding and the training comes in. It's like if I ask someone to be my assistant, or if I hire them, I have to put my boss hat on, and I'm like, hey, I know that you're a phenomenal artist, but I want to get a really critical breakdown of like what I need from you, from sanitation to your setup, to the way that we speak when we're with our client, to what we wear, our perfume, the low cut cleavage. Like, I do my best to represent my brand professionally. So I have those conversations, even when they're difficult, to make sure that my assistant is like beyond what anybody would expect. Because I do get a lot of like people that are like anticipating, like, so you're not doing my makeup? I'm like, no, but you hired me. So trust me that whoever I'm bringing on board is going to be fantastic.
I love the emphasis on training, number one, onboarding, number two, but then also just being professional, because everything represents your brand. So now let's shift and talk about actual training. What type of training did you undergo before you started your business?
Girl, the most rigorous training the best type of training when you want to do makeup is trying, right? It's doing it every single day, doing it on every single person that you come across. Everyone's face is different. I worked at Estee Lauder before I worked at MAC. Estee Lauder gave me a lot of training. Their clientele demographic was like more mature women. There, I learned how to do more mature skin. I learned how to work with clients that really had like an expectation. They feel like they was coming in to spend that bread. So they like, I need you to be the expert. Like, you better tell me what lipstick is in season looking good right now. At MAC, I learned so much about being an artist, right? Not just how to do makeup, but owning who I was as an artist and how to assert myself, all kind of tricks of the trade. I learned product knowledge. I learned how to show up, as they would say in MAC terms, as the makeup authority, right? I learned selling cosmetics. I learned poise. I learned confidence. I learned tools, the difference in tools like brushes, sponges, different things like that. But it wasn't just the training that I got at MAC. A lot of it was the environment, because when I first started with MAC, it was like a culture of artists that had a passion for makeup. They maybe not even knew that they were teaching me, but they taught me so much just from being in their presence and watching. I'm like,
so this very much sounds like on-the-job training from MAC and Estee Lauder, but then also trial and error, because I imagine you did your own face for years. You probably did your friends and family face, right? But are there any specific certifications, like actual certifications a person needs to do makeup?
It depends on where you live. I know when I worked for MAC, I was certified as a makeup artist and certified in different things like color theory. I also went to cosmetology school. I went to college as well. I think a large part of being a makeup artist, a freelance makeup artist, at least, is the business, right? Because there's countless makeup artists out there. And the biggest thing is not always, are you the best makeup artist? Because, what does that really mean? But it has a lot to do with how well you are able to market yourself and show up as a professional that gets you the leads, gets you the job, and then keeps you consistently booking clients.
That was perfect, because I was also going to ask you, what sets you apart from other makeup artists in Grand Rapids or the world?
I am very passionate about what I do as a makeup artist. To be frank, I dropped out of college because I wanted to be a makeup artist. So I think that's always kind of like in my back pocket, that I put all of my eggs in this one basket, and now I'm a mom, right? I'm a mom. I'm divorced. I got a lot riding on this career. When I started my business, I was like, you got to go big or you got to go home. So I make it my passion to consistently study my craft, to show up professionally, to network, to try new things. I'm always working with, if I see a beautiful person, I'm like, oh, I want to do her makeup. I want to try something new, right? I'm watching what the younger girls are doing. I'm watching what the celebrities are doing. I think what definitely sets me aside is my respect for the craft from where it started and, how it's constantly evolving in trends. I love makeup.
What other skills does a person need to be a successful makeup artist? You talked about professionalism. You talked about the technical side of things. You talked about color theory. You talked about working with different skin types. But what else does a person need?
You definitely need to have confidence if you want to be a makeup artist. You have to be able to encourage yourself, right? You have to be self-motivated because the beauty industry is constantly going and evolving. So if you want to stay relevant and if you want to stay on top of your game, you have to have something that's fueling your passion. And it's probably that self-motivation and determination that is going to keep lighting that fire in you as a makeup artist or a beauty professional. You don't necessarily have to be outgoing, but you have to have the confidence and the desire to want to speak up about who you are and what you do, right? So there's an aspect of selling yourself or positioning yourself, whether you want to get on the internet or whether you want to do interviews like this. How are people going to know what you do if you just sit and like, oh yeah, her face is beat. I would have never even known she did her own makeup, like how would I know? But if you go into a room and you introduce yourself and you say, hi, my name is Janai. I'm a makeup artist and hairstylist. I would love to work with you or let's connect. Selling yourself is really, really important.
I saw on Instagram, I've been doing makeup and hair since I was 17 years old. Janai looks very young, but she's a little older than 17 right now.
Just 27. Just wait.
That's my age too. When people ask me 27, I'm 27 too.
Yes, we are. We're 27.
Absolutely. But let's talk about being a hairstylist, because I think that's another thing that sets your brand apart. I feel like it's very important as an entrepreneur to have many skill sets. Have you ever been booked for a makeup job, a makeup application, but then a hairstylist fell through and you like, no problem, girl, I got you?
Yes, I've always done hair, been able to do hair. I'm half Mexican, half Black. And I grew up in a salon. And I say that to say hair is a thing, where I come from, right? Our community, we don't play about hair. I've always been switching up my hairstyles, or at least wanting to. I did not start with, putting the title of a hairstylist behind myself because I feel like I was intimidated to be oh, I do hair. I grew up in a salon and my cousins and all my family were really good at doing hair. So I was I'm gonna do makeup because they got the hair thing on lock. But what happened was I moved to Atlanta and I was what am I going to do, with my hair? And I kind of had to tap into some of those skills that I personally had. And I was really rough around the edges. I could do some styling a little bit. I could make my own hair look cute. I wasn't at the point where I felt confident enough to be oh yeah, I could do your hair. Exactly how you were saying. What I kept running into is instances where, oh, my client would have to go get their hair done first before getting their makeup done, or they would be going to get their hair done afterwards. And they would be doing something simple like some curls or, a bun or something like that. And I'm girl, I could put a bun in your hair, or I could do some curls. And that sparked my desire to want to go to cosmetology school because I'm I'm okay at hair, but I want to learn more and I want to offer more services, which brings me to a whole nother thing. But yes, my desire and need to want to create a much more full experience for my client, and also to be able to market myself better, I decided to go to cosmetology school and perfect my craft as a hairstylist. Now, I won't say that I'm as confident in my hairstyling abilities as I am in my makeup abilities, but I practice hair a lot. And I have a diverse range of clients that I work on. So I'm making sure that I'm practicing on everyone because I do want to perfect my hairstyling abilities.
So you said that brings you to another thought, or that brings me to another thing. You got excited about something, then you stopped talking. Do you want to share something else?
I was going to say what also made me want to go to cosmetology school is living in Grand Rapids or living in a smaller town as a makeup artist. Everybody wasn't getting their makeup done, especially not years ago, 10 years ago. Nobody was getting their makeup done. I was begging folks please, you would just look so much better in your wedding photos if you hire a makeup artist, right? And then when I moved back, I'm okay, I can offer makeup services. But if I offer makeup services, and just to be transparent number-wise, in Grand Rapids area, you're probably charging about $75 to $100, right? If I could make $75 to $100 an hour, but then I added on another service, like hair and then eyebrows, I can up that ticket from $100 to $175 by offering two more services. So I would give you a quality brow or facial wax before we get started. I can offer you a facial massage. I could do a mini facial on you and then apply makeup. After I do, your makeup and your facial, then I can do your hair, right? I would be able to increase my ticket price, which was ultimately bringing in more revenue for myself and my business if I was able to offer more services. So that's why I said, yes, I can do makeup. Once I've been able to master this skill, then I want to not only add a more full experience for my clients, but I also want to make some more money, right? Because makeup is kind of a special occasion luxury type of thing, especially when you're living in a small city. People aren't getting their makeup done as often. So that means not as much money if I wanted to do this full time.
So that's a perfect transition into my next topic, which is the money. We're here to talk about making money. We're here to talk about startup costs. What's the potential earning income? What would you estimate the startup cost to be?
To start out being a makeup artist, I would say anywhere from about $500 to $1,000, depending on what type of makeup artist you want to market yourself as. If you want to start charging out of the gate, $500 would get you started with a good amount of product. It would cover a good amount of your kits, which you can build over time, but that would be your lighting, your chair, at least a landing page for your website. Or if you wanted to, go with what was free, then you could start off just marketing yourself on social, which is no added cost unless you wanted to run ads to promote your business.
Now let's get into the makeup kit. You have to have foundations and concealers to match various different skin tones and skin types. So that's just the basis. But then obviously most people want some eyeshadow. Most people need their eyebrows filled. A lot of people are interested in the highlight, the contour. We want the complete look. So let's talk about what goes into your makeup kit just getting started.
That's a good question because there's a lot of advertisement around all of these products telling makeup artists that they need so much just to get started. And I know from experience that it can be very intimidating. What I would say would be your most important investment when you first start out building your makeup kit is going to be your tools and then also the skin prep, because the secret to flawless foundation or great makeup is going to be the skincare that you put underneath or that preps the face so that you can have the best outcome. So a good eyeshadow primer is going to give you a better payoff for all of your eyeshadows if they're not the best quality. A good face primer and moisturizer is going to help your foundation to lay more evenly and to stay on. And I would also say it's going to be in your best interest to learn how to mix products. When I first started, I had a really, really light shade, a really, really deep shade, and then some medium tones, right? So if you know color theory, you're going to know that I need some cool shades, I need some warm shades. And then if you don't have one of them foundations, you're going to mix it right on the spot. When I learned how to get a really good foundation match when I worked at MAC, we literally had to take primary colors. So you taking some blue and you taking some yellow and you're mixing that. You add in white tones, shades, and tints to get a brown. If you know how to mix up some stuff, you're using creams, you can come up with any foundation color if you don't have the money to buy, every shade right away.
What is your favorite foundation primer that gives you long wear?
I can't even say because I'm not a huge foundation primer person anymore. I know.
I thought it was a crime not to prime. Hold on. Because all the videos I watched on YouTube told me it's a crime not to prime. So what do you mean?
So I mean that prime is in the preparation. Prime is not a particular product for me. Prime is the way I'm prepping the skin, not necessarily with one product that calls itself a primer, right? I'm prepping the skin with a little water and glycerin so that when I put the moisturizer on there, it's retaining the moisture, right? And then I might even prep with a loose powder so that I'm soaking up some of that oil so that my foundation is going to just go on and blend really nicely. But if I had to choose one primer, I'm a MAC person because I worked for MAC for so long. So I feel like I'm kind of biased. And it's just because when I learned products, I had to learn all the ingredients within the MAC products. So I know how they work. I know how they layer and stuff like that. So I always say MAC is just because that's where my most product knowledge is, like the ins and the outs of those products. If I had to pick one, I would say MAC Natural Radiance. It has some really nice diffusers in the skin. it's moisturizing, and then it really does help the makeup to glide on nicely.
I'm definitely a matte girl too. The Pro Longwear Concealer, the Studio Fix Foundation, definitely two of my go-to products that I've been wearing for like 15 years. Since I started wearing makeup, I've been wearing pretty much those same two products. I'm open to other things, but sometimes the other products just don't blend as well. They don't match my skin tone as well. They don't photograph as well. So I'm definitely a fan of MAC too. How much should a person charge getting started? Because my personal thoughts is that until you really have some skills under your belt, you know, have some experience, you should be doing some stuff at a discounted price or for free. Like as a new makeup artist, I don't think anybody should just go in saying, okay, my fee is $70 a face. But what do you think? What do you recommend as a new makeup artist?
You know, I tell anybody in the beauty business to when they start out to start their business with integrity and to charge something. And the reason why I say that is because the beauty business, especially within our community, right? The Black community, it's a multi-billion-dollar business. One, a lot of us are doing this like naturally. Like how many cousins do you have? Like she can braid hair. She gonna come flat iron your hair, twist your hair. She can put your lashes on, anything. She can do this in her sleep. But if you always doing it for free, when you want to start charging, you haven't built up that foundation of integrity and you're not comfortable asking for money. It's your talent, it's your time, and it's product. I don't care if I'm just laying your baby hair with my own little got to be or, you know, whatever gel. I don't use my gel on you. I need a little coin. And it took me 10 minutes or whatever. I say that it's not necessarily about a dollar amount when you're first getting started. But if I had to be particular about cost, for instance, if you're a braider, then going over all of the things that you think are minute and just minor costs. So if you have a hair stand that's separating the hair, if you have, you know, your parting comb, if you bought some shining jam, if you bought the mousse for the braids, if you bought the little kettle to warm the water in, if you bought the towel to dry the hair when you dip the braids, every single little cost, I would write all of those down. And then I would write down how many hours it took me. What rate are you comfortable receiving hourly, right? So if it took you 5 hours to do the braids, how do you feel about spending your time for $10 an hour, for $15 an hour, for $20 an hour? And then you have to think, what was the value of the service that I provided? One, you need to break even on your costs and your time. Once you start progressing and your talent is better, then you can start thinking about profit, right? I'm sorry, you should always be prioritizing profit is what I want to say, so that you can have the money to market and invest in your business. So those are the things that I would think about. The cost for everything that I use, how much I want to charge for my time, and then how much can I actually make as a profit so that I can afford to keep offering this service, right? Or if you took a day off of work to braid your cousin's hair and you missed out on $120, you should probably at least be charging $120, right?
So then as an experienced makeup artist, give us a price range of what people can expect to pay for a full face makeup application, for a wedding look, for a special occasion look. Like, what's the range?
Where this gets a little bit tricky is that markets are different, right? So I have a friend in New York and she was telling me that like just for her to go to somebody, she's starting out at like $500. And that's just the bride, right? In Grand Rapids, I'd be like, girl, I'm not paying you no $500, which that doesn't mean that you're not worth it. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't request $500. If that's where your value is, then hey, you charge $500. And I have learned in business that don't apologize if that's how much you want to charge. You offer a specific service, you know, and just be confident about that. I would say in the Grand Rapids market, bridal makeup is about $200. And that's just for the bride, right? There's different packages that you could offer. My bridesmaids are usually about $85, but I have different options that they can add on. And there's different services that I offer that would up the price. So it would be hair, it would be a touch-up kit, it would be airbrush makeup option. It would be a different type of lash, like a mink reusable lash or a magnetic lash.
You do airbrush too? See, that's what I'm talking about. You be leaving out details, girl. You be leaving out details. That's important to know, though. Okay, come through with the airbrush.
Most makeup artists that got it out the mud and was like learning with the foundation, I could spray you with airbrush all day long, but I can give you an airbrush effect. because, that's what we had to learn, doing makeup and trying the different tools and brushes and application and stuff like that. So I think that's probably why I don't mention it, but I definitely do have a whole airbrush kit. But there are makeup artists who specialize in airbrush, right? So you can decide like, oh, I just want to be an airbrush makeup artist. You need to get you an airbrush machine, right? And then specialize in that.
Okay, so when you are booking appointments with clients, do you require a deposit? Because I feel like in the beauty industry, people have a bad habit of canceling on you at the last minute. They shop around. So it's like, I might look at your work online, like, oh, Janai does a good job. Let me book this appointment with Makeup by Janai. But then my homegirl cousin says she'll do my face for $35, and that's cheaper than the $75 Janai charged him. So I'm going to cancel on Janai last minute. Or not even notify her because I'm going to my cousin because, it's half the price.
I think that requiring a deposit nowadays is smart for your business. Because I've been doing makeup for a certain amount of time, and I think the way that I market myself, thankfully and luckily, that a large portion of my clientele base, they're very serious when they book makeup. For instance, my particular client, they book ahead of time. They might be booking more than one service at a time. They are on time. So they kind of are not playing about their makeup appointment. For the sake of my finances not fluctuating, going up and down, and somebody just don't feel like getting their makeup done, I have on my booking site that I do have a cancellation policy. And if you don't cancel within a certain amount of time, then you will get charged. And then if I do any like larger jobs, then I do a contract and I do a deposit for those kind of jobs. Say if there's an instance where I send you out an invoice, I ask for a deposit or a retainer, you should say, to hold that spot, and then it's not refundable after a certain amount of time. I heavily believe in deposits. I just think that it doesn't allow beauty professionals to be like, more lax with how they show up just because they take a little bit of somebody's money. That makes me more serious and my client, making it a priority to show up for their appointment because they're like, I already paid this amount of money, so I'm coming.
Okay, so now let's shift and talk about marketing.
I market heavily on Instagram, and I'm on Instagram as Makeup by Janai, so you can follow my page there. And I'm also on Facebook. I do a lot of advertising on social. The majority of my business actually is by like word of mouth and referrals. Pretty much everyone that sits in my chair has either had an experience with me before, or they've had a friend or family member who has gotten their makeup done by me or saw me on social.
Let's talk more about your socials, because you're not just posting like the before and after look of the faces that you paint. You are very creative. You are doing videos, reels, lip syncing. So let's talk about that, the creativity side of your socials.
Thank you. I think social media started getting so much more fun for me when I started being myself. I'm kind of goofy. I always have loved to create faces that inspire, whether it comes to my home or like a photo background drop. So I try to channel that into my social media, which helps me to market from a way more authentic space. And when I'm being myself on social, I'm creating more of a following that like actually wants to see me and support me. So I just started having fun. I'm like, so I just do my makeup. I show y'all what I'm doing and people are liking it and I'm having fun. So
and that's the person I want to do my makeup. She has personality.
Thank you.
Right?
Thank you. And I didn't know that that's what people wanted to connect with so much, but I'm a private person and just being transparent. Like, when I started showing up on social, I was going through my divorce and I'm like, I know that everybody knows that I'm freaking getting a divorce, right? But like, I don't want to just be like telling my business out there or being like saying things, or that is still my son's father. So I wanted to share who I was because I really was going through something, whether it was just starting my business and transition my business or in my personal love life or, just how I was feeling moving back home, all that stuff. So I was going through a lot, but I was showing up on social media, but I wasn't really showing up authentically. But then when I started looking over my insights, I'm like, what do people want to see? Well, they want to see me. And I'm like, I don't want y'all to see me because I'm private. And I'm like, I always like to be behind the camera. I actually have a photographer friend and he would take my pictures. When I would put pictures of me up, like my likes and stuff like start going crazy. And I'm like, my audience wants to see me. And I'm like, don't y'all want to see the makeup that I'm pouring my heart and soul into? And they're like, kind of, but we'd rather see you. Yeah. And that's why I show up that way. Like I show up doing makeup, or I show up showing out a makeup look or a lip color or demonstrating a product or something like that after learning my insights and that my audience wants to see me, that's when I was like, okay, I guess I'm gonna give y'all the Janai or makeup by Janai.
What is your number one tip for marketing?
Consistency. If you're consistent with when you show up, how you show up, where you show up, then people can count on you. And if people can count on you, they're going to book you. But then if you're at the top of people's mind, they're also going to book you. And because you're consistent, showing up on your platforms, you're consistently professional, your work is consistent, they know where to find you, how to find you, and what you're capable of.
For me and for some other people watching, it is hard to be consistent. It's hard to post every day. It's hard to be creative. It's hard to just be innovative and happy and, you know, authentic and just there all the time. What are some of your greatest challenges?
It would definitely be the whole starving artist portion. I don't like to say that I'm not rich because I'm like, I wouldn't speak that over my life, right? But being an entrepreneur and being a makeup artist, I'm everything. It doesn't matter if I have an assistant or not. I am the personality that is connecting with potential clients. I'm the person who is going online, practicing the new trends. I'm the person that's going to buy the makeup. I'm the person who's starting the business account. I'm the person that is performing the service. I'm the person that's looking over the contract after, you know, I have a contract with my lawyer, but like I'm doing all the legwork and I'm showing up on social media. There's a lot that goes into being a makeup artist. And then there's that money part that comes along with it. Like, how do I charge? Where do I find clients? And how do I manage my finances? Because buying makeup can be expensive. The cost can be like adding up. So sometimes the money can be going out as fast as it's coming in. And also always having to show up. I have to stay on top of my health because if I'm sick, I can't run my business, you know, and not just physically sick, if I'm mentally sick, right? A big part of entrepreneurship that I learned is it's all about self and like growing. Because I have to learn to protect my energy physically and mentally because I have to show up for my business, right? Nobody else is going to do that. So then I have to start incorporating all these things into who I am, my mindset, my personal boundaries. So I know not to be spreading myself too thin because I got to show up at work. But then I also got to show up as a mom. So it's prioritizing what's important to me so that I can show up and be this leader or this great makeup artist in my business. It's a lot.
All of that resonates with me. You touched on so many things. I want to put the emphasis on the self-care because like you said, we all may struggle with time management or we all are stretching ourselves so thin because we have to be so many different things to so many different people that you forget. If I'm not healthy and whole, I'm no good to anybody, right? So you need to take that time, get the rest, eat healthy, exercise, do whatever makes you happy, brings you peace, brings you joy. I'm very happy you touched on self-care because it's a priority to me as well, which is why I feature that type of content on my other YouTube channel, the Whitney Styles YouTube channel, where I'm bringing self-care and pamper routines. I'm bringing bath products. I'm bringing Black-owned businesses and products that you could shop with. If you could do this all again, would you do anything differently?
I would have went to a HBCU. And I would have moved to New York or California probably right after school. I would have started doing hair sooner. Oh, and let me say, and I would not have named my business Makeup by Janai so that they don't always expect for Janai to freaking show up, right?
No, that's good.
Only because I'm only one person, right? So I feel like when you name your business after yourself, they're like, where's Janai at? I'm like, she ain't coming. My assistant coming.
What advice would you give to aspiring makeup artists?
Study your craft, do makeup every single opportunity that you can on everyone that you can because everyone's skin is different. And if you want to be an amazing makeup artist, you got to know what you're doing on the spot. If somebody say, can you do my grandma makeup? She's turning 75 and she having a birthday party. Sure. Be very specific on who you want to service. So my particular clientele does not look a certain way. She more so has certain quality or is looking for a certain type of outcome. That could be a 42-year-old white woman. That could be a 37-year-old Black woman. You know, that could be a 23-year-old that's about to go away to college or in college or something like that. So I would say my target audience from my research is women of color who are professionals that are looking for a skilled professional makeup artist. They are typically very punctual. They are planners. They are beginner to intermediate at makeup, applying makeup themselves. And they're looking for me to show up professionally. They're looking for my expertise when it comes to style, when it comes, and not just makeup style, but when it comes to, okay, what should I wear? Should I do baby hair? Should I not? Gold or silver earrings? They want me to be a style expert, okay? They like a little bit of confidence boost. A lot of my clients are naturalistas, whether they are like Afro-Latina or they're Black women that are like, I wear my hair naturally curly and I'm not doing a certain type of stereotypical styles. I'm just me and I love me. Like, that's who my client is. They're like, I am who I am and I'm doing makeup for right now, but you know, and they like to connect with women. My clients love women, right? And I think that's maybe what I give off, because I love being a woman. I love connecting with other women. I always have been that type of girl. And so naturally I've evolved into that type of women. And I think a lot of my clients, they're like, I want to support somebody professional, Black or brown owned, and I want you to be my face. So.
You described me to a T, so I feel all that. All that resonated with me. So let's switch it up and play a little game. This next game is called I'm a Hustler. What is the craziest thing you've ever done for money?
Okay, the craziest thing I ever done for money was when I worked in Atlanta. I had a client who, long story short, I ended up at a strip club helping somebody to spy on her client's girlfriend. How about that? But she paid me to do her makeup, come to the strip club with her.
That sounds fun. I like that.
It was so fun. I'll never forget. It was so fun. And like, you know, chicken wings, strip clubs.
It's a vibe. What is your favorite Black owned business?
One of my clients, her name is Shannon Cohen. She has a podcast and she has a greeting card line, which is in Target. Her Tough Skin, Soft Hearts is one of my favorite brands to support and watch because of her authenticity, right? What she's telling people in her podcast or how she lived her life. I've personally been in her home and I'm like, she's just a dynamic, phenomenal woman. Another one that came to heart is Danessa Myricks. That's the foundation that I use in my kit and it's called Vision Cover Cream. I'm like, take my money, sis. Take my money. Like, I freaking love that. I love Fenty. There's a juice that's manufactured in Grand Rapids, and I always pronounce it
Malamaya Juice Bar?
Yes.
That one? I might be pronouncing it wrong too, but I know the owners of that too.
The ones that I get are from Fresh Time, but there's like, it's literally just fresh ingredients in there. You know, like I said, we try to eat healthy and do better. When I tell you, I'm like, again, take my money. Like, it's so good. I tell everybody about it. Oh, and you know I love Brandon Blackwood. Okay. You have a Brandon Blackwood bag?
No.
You gotta get it. Quality, beautiful. I'll be wearing, I'm not really a designer person, but I really like Black owned brands.
I knew this question would excite you, and you did not disappoint. You came through with the versatility and the diversity and the vendors and the providers. So yes, love that. Let's talk about your greatest accomplishment with Makeup by Janai.
Being able to sustain myself and provide a life for myself and my son as a full-time makeup artist and hairstylist. When I was 17, when I was in college, when I was working at the Mac counter, I worked every weekend. I worked all the holidays. You know, I just worked, and I didn't have any of that life balance. And I grew so weary because I'm like, is there any light at the end of the tunnel? Am I ever going to have enough money to stop working like this and like actually enjoy my life? Now I have bigger financial goals, but I work full time for myself and I feel so blessed every day. Every time I get on an airplane, even when I'm just in my house working on my clients or my family and my friends, I'm like, I feel so full. Really living out my passion, doing what I love to do. I feel blessed.
If you're feeling down, what song or album instantly puts you in a good mood?
I'm very empathic. If I'm feeling down, I really got to hear something up. I think it's more, I like some EDM or like a good beat that can keep me going. That's like, but really lately, I've been like, before I had this call and I was like, ooh, I'm so anxious. I've been listening to meditation music. For Nam Yo Rengekyo. Bring the peace and the tranquil vibe. Rihanna, Meg Thee Stallion. Of course, I love some good Beyonce. Okay. Yes, I like to get in my bag. Really, I love City Girls. I love Big Sean. I love Jasmine Sullivan. But I'm trying to think anything that take me back to riding in my mama car in the 90s, getting dropped off at Southeast. You know, something good that's like a whole vibe. It's definitely a woman. Go ahead, give me that info, sis. I need that.
So is there anything else you want to cover in the interview?
I don't think so. I just want to say shout out to you. I love how well you're doing at this. I was so excited to be like, I'm going on the currency club. So yeah, I love seeing you evolve and like your brand is growing. And I love that it's like you marketing you. Like Whitney Styles be like, cause period, fool. If y'all don't know, y'all gonna know.
Period.
And I love that about you, because if we are not hyping up ourselves, being our own biggest spokesperson, we can't leave that power to anyone else, right? It's like, if y'all was sleeping on me, that's on you, but I've been feeling me. So come on over to this side whenever y'all ready. And if you not, that's cool, because there's other people, you know, that are willing to support me. So I love that for you. I'm super excited to be a part of like these beginnings and some of the first few interviews. I'm super excited. I can't wait to watch your channel grow. So thanks for having me.
Girl, thank you for speaking that onto me and my channel. You once again summarized me to a T, because that is me, unapologetic, myself, authentic in every situation. So yes, thank you for that. Obviously, I want to thank you for your time. You are just like this ray of sunshine, this inspiration, this positive energy, just such a vibe. And before we go, leave the viewers with an inspirational message.
Be your own biggest cheerleader. Love yourself. Support yourself, tell everybody about your business, practice what you do, and show up in the best way that you possibly can for yourself, so that that good vibe ultimately flows into your business. Like, you're enough, you're great, and show up as your best self as often as you can.
Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button to join the club.